Right, today in the Remoska Tria we are going to do a South African Potje. That's P-O-T-J-E. It's pronounced in Afrikaans as Potje, but in Dutch as Potje. I'm using here a kilo of lamb on a shoulder, which I've taken the bone off. I'm keeping the bone. That's going to go and be cooked as well. And you can use chicken, you can use pork, you can use beef. It's up to you. Today I'm using that. I'm also going to use a bit of wine as a sauce. But now we come to the masala. Now the masala, you can roast it, dry roast it, some of the whole ones or all of the whole ones, and then grind them, and that makes your masala. You mix it in the meat, and you can leave it marinating, or you can cook it straight away. I'll leave it marinating for a bit because it's only 1 o'clock. I'll start about my time. I'll start about 2 o'clock in an hour's time to leave an hour for marinating. And I'm now going to talk about the let me just move that out of the way. I'm now going to talk about the masala that we're going to be using, and that's whole spices, as I said, and ground spices. I'm going to use a bit of both because I'm a bit lazy today. But anyway, so in there is 2 teaspoons of cumin seed. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, cumin seed. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of coriander seed. 1, 2, 3. Now, of course, you can buy that in powder form. You wouldn't have to, if you did that, you wouldn't have to roast it. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to do that. Also today, I'm going to put in the peppercorns. I'm going to put in about 3 or 4 peppercorns. 3, 4. And today also I'm going to put about 8. Sorry, those were cloves, weren't they? These are cloves. So about 4 cloves and about 8 peppercorns. And I'm going to dry roast those, and then I'm going to grind them. Now, in terms of powdered ingredients, for today, I say you don't have to do this. I'm going to use chili powder. A lot of the recipes use cayenne pepper, but I couldn't find. I thought I had cayenne pepper. But I don't appear to have had, so I'm going to have to use chili powder. I got paprika, and I think that's what I was confusing about. So a heaped teaspoon there. I'm trying to remember everything as I go. Now, fennel seed. Now that's strong. Now a lot of recipes talk about 2 and 3 tablespoons of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put a pinch of fennel seed. That's very strong. I don't think you need much more than a pinch of fennel seed in any recipe, but there we go. I know that some of the South African ones I've seen talk about like a tablespoon of it, or 2 teaspoons of it. Right, so that's powdered form. I'm going to put 2 whole. You could break these up and let the seeds out, but for the purposes of today, I'm just going to leave them in whole to give it a bit more spice. I'm going to also add whole. I'm not going to grind them, although you could. The optional, really, black cardamom. I'll put 1. And I'm going to put in 3 or 4 green cardamoms. They could be ground up too. You could put cardamom powder in there if you wanted to. And I haven't got it. I don't know if it's handy quickly. Let me just see if I've got it here fastly, quick. I've got to put some cinnamon in, but where it is in my normally keep it, it's not there anymore. So I'll have to look for that, and I'll add it in a minute. Right, got the cinnamon now. Well, it's cinnamon bark I'm going to be using. You could use ground cinnamon. If you are going to use ground cinnamon, I'd have thought something like, let's have a look, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. But anyway, I'm going to use cinnamon bark. There's the whole bark. I've broken off about 2 inches. I'm going to put that in there. Right, I'll come back to you in a bit. There's a frying pan. You could use the, if you had it all, if you weren't worried about marinating, you could just do everything in the Tria, get it hot and do everything. I'm just going to dry roast those. It's a bit of a knack on the dry roasting, really. Obviously something wooden. It'll smoke and pop. Should have had it hotter than this, but anyway, there we go. So we'll just get there. You'll smell it actually as it begins to work. It'll pop everywhere. Leave that there for a second and I'll come back to you. Right, you'll see, I should have had this hot before I started, but you see it will start smoking. You might be able to see smoke coming off it, and you'll hear the odd pop as the kernels or the seeds break in terms of the coriander and cumin seeds. Dry roast those for a couple of minutes. I can hear the crackle. I don't suppose it was showing on the video. There you are, that was a crack. So dry roast for a few minutes. I've got one or two popped out already, look. There we are. Try not to let them burn. That's it. I'm going to now take them off there, and I'm going to take you over here. Right, put them into the grinder. Right. Turn that into a powder, or as much as you can get it. And I'll come back to that when I've done a bit more. Now we come to the marinading. Well, you may remember that I've got some whole spices in there, which I'm just going to throw in. The whole chilies and so on. So don't forget them. It's not essential that you can just get thrown in when you start to fry them. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to add that all into there. And that's all added. That's all added into the spices I've ground. And I've also got here garlic, which I'll throw on top. Now you don't have to have garlic, it's optional, but I like garlic and lamb. I think garlic and lamb go good. So that's what we're having in there. I'm going to take myself a wooden round spoon, and I'm now going to throw the rest of the spices in that. You find there's a lovely smell because you've roasted spices, and now the idea is to mix it all in. Now salting. I remember on TV. Oh, blimey, I missed that bit. I've cut that one. In TV, they said that one of these TV chefs said that you must always season your food, and I think he's right about that, and that's what I'm going to do. It's got peppercorns in it, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Let me just cut this meat up here, which I somehow seem to have forgotten. I don't like big lumps, which a lot of people do. Anyway, that's all in there now. So I'm going to mix that all, and I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt, only because you should marinate it, I think. And you should season your meat and everything, so I'm using coarse sea salt there, about a teaspoon. I suppose really I should have mixed it in with the with the spices when I ground them. Anyway, there you go. That's that. And I'm going to leave that now. Put a plate on top to stop any flies, although it's England. If I was in a hot climate, I think I'd probably put it in the fridge, but I'll just put a lid over it. And I think the wife and I are going for a coffee then. Come back at an hour and we're ready to start. Right. In there, I've just put in all the lamb, which I took off the bone. You see I put the bone in as well. I've been drowning that. And I've mixed all the spices in. You can't smell it obviously on the camera, but I can tell you, hopefully you see the colour of it. Look, doesn't that look tasty? The smell, fantastic. Okay. So that looks delicious. So now I'm going to put the lid on. I'm just going to get everything over now to do the layering. Right. The first layering is going to be the onions. I'll cut them in. See, I'll break them up a bit. I'll cut them in slices. They'll break up as they cook. Two onions, in fact, I used. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the heat now. Now what I'm going to tell you is that we don't stir anymore now. Nothing is stirred anymore. And I'm going to put in the cooking juices before I do anything else. I'll show you that. This is a red Merlot. I'll put half in now. Oh dear. Right, I'll put in about half now. While I do the rest of it. That's the onions going in. Now remember, on this you don't stir anymore. So the layers all go on. I put 3 plum tomatoes in this. You could put more, there's no, but this recipe I think very much is how you fancy it really. Now the next bit I'm adding isn't, I didn't see it on the South African recipe, but I know that lamb, well, for in France, they use these, the green pepper. So I thought, well, we'll shove that on as well with the wine. I've got to tell you, the smells from this thing is gorgeous. So that's the second layer. Third layer. Now, this here is the Remoska standard. I'm using it as a pot at the moment because I'm going to put potatoes in next. Potatoes all the way around. Potatoes in first. So next layer, remember again I say no more stirring. Done. Then the last thing that goes on top is carrots. Now the very last thing I'm going to put in is cabbage. Now I'm going to do that as follows. But this is cabbage, and the leaves hopefully will come off as wholes, and cabbage is a final layer. According to one online discussion, it's to help hold the sauces in, what do you call it? Help hold the taste in, the moisture in. And you've got to make sure that you don't run out of moisture. Gravy. Now I'm probably going to get too much in here, but it won't matter because they will reduce. Push it down, and I'll come back to you when I've done. That's all pushed on there now, and that should be starting to rise. I've got an extra bit of wine which I think I'll just put a little bit on. The wife can probably finish that if I don't need it. Because although you don't stir it anymore, you do need to check, make sure it doesn't dry out. Right, this is the Remoska Tria, the vacuum lid goes on. Technically you can do it faster, but as I want to, I mean, it'll be cooked at a long time, so I'm going to cook it just on a low heat for about an hour and a half. And it should be okay there. We'll see. Right, so I'm going to use modern technology. Alexa, set alarm for 45 minutes. 45 minutes has passed. Take the lid off. Well, I can see there's plenty of juice in there, so I don't need to add any more. So that's about, I suppose, a mug of juice to go in there. Push it all down. I could add more, the rest of it now, but there's probably enough in there now in terms of cabbage. The green cabbage I like better in there. This is all right, I think. Right. Okay, we'll use Alexa again. Alexa, set alarm for 45 minutes. At that point in time, it should be well cooked. It's a little over an hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half in the Remoska. Obviously, if you were doing this in the big bowls, you would cook it over hours and big fire. I think this would be quite good in a microwave, not a microwave, in a slow cooker or a casserole dish cooked over a long time too. Oh, there we are. Now on the table, the potje, as they say in South Africa, or potje, as they say in Holland. So basically, you cut through the layers, and then you serve it up. So let's just open that up so you can see. So it's all cooked, it's all from the layers. That's curries. And now I'm going to do mine. The cinnamon, put that back in, and there we go. That is the dinner potje. Right, there's my wife just trying her first mouth. I don't think you've tried any meat yet, have you?
No.
What's it taste like?
It's very nice.
There you go, folks. Very nice.